Hi, everyone. This is the Mystic Temple podcast, and I'm here with Joanna Wiley, and I am Andrea Dombecki from mystictemple.co. We are excited to be here today talking about Lioness Gate on Lion's Gate 8-8. This is a powerful day of spiritual power and alignment, and we'll be talking about the healing messages of lion energy and the different aspects of lion power. And we're going to see what else comes through for this magical day. Welcome, Joanna.
Hi, Andrea. We're so excited to be here on this Lion's Gate. And we're also in the 8-8. This year is an 8 because 2 plus 2 and 4 equals 8. So it's like 888. So it's even more magical than we normally have on this. And it's an even year. So I feel like more people are finding out about Lion's Gate and more people are like celebrating it and being empowered with this day that has been around for a very long time. There's a lot of powerful medicine that comes through on this day. And it's also, sometimes there's things, it's a good time to like let things go during this time too.
Yeah. It's interesting because I kept getting a lot of visions of like light pouring down to like the pyramids and activating the earth. And then when I did research it, it said that Sirius is like aligned with the Pyramid of Giza. So and I kind of kept getting that vision of like white light coming down, higher consciousness coming down. And then it feels like it's connected to ascension or upgrades, which can come with ups and downs. So I was, reading the energy this morning, and I felt like it was a lot of like focus on gratitude, and then manifesting and aligning. And so it's kind of like a mixture of shadow work with like manifesting, uplifting work, right? Because we can't be, that was like a message that was coming through today too, that we couldn't be joyful all the time, that we had to move through the lower emotions, but we don't have to stay in them, right? So that was kind of interesting too. With the Lion's Gate purging, we're cleaning out and then we're upgrading. And so then I was doing both of those things, like doing some drumming, and then I'm going to do some intention setting and things like that. I also feel like it's a great time for, super self-care. I meditated for an hour, exercise for an hour, take care of your body, mind, and spirit to get ready for those beautiful upgrades and connect with that lion energy, which has actually been really foremost in my life for a few months because I'm a zoo member here where I live, and we got 2 new lions at the zoo, and they really felt magical, like they were shifting the consciousness of the whole city. So I'm just kind of watching all this lion energy and how it's and then all the connections to it. Do you want to start to talk about how Lion's Gates is affecting you, or what you feel coming through?
Yeah, well, for our family, we've had my grandfather died on Lion's Gate I think in 2020. And then my aunt's husband passed away on Lion's Gate, and I had a very good shaman friend of mine passed away on Lion's Gate. So it's also like, it reminds me a little bit of the summer version of Samhain, where those portals can open and it's a space where people can, like leave this realm and move into their next life or whatever your belief system is. And it's this really powerful portal time, and the people that decide to leave at this time, I feel like they have like a different purpose why they're leaving and how they leave. It's like they kind of already knew a map and they already knew how to go. So they just like jump in the Lion's Gate and leave. Just a lot like Samhain in beginning of November, like Halloween time, is another really potent portal time where their souls can move freely between the realms,
It's interesting you mentioned that, because for me, I feel like that also means when the veil is thin, I can hear the ancestors more, because I really heard my mom loud and clear. And I was like, it's like she's right here. And I'm getting all these memories. And I was like, oh, that's because just like that other holiday, which I can't say the name of, I kind of think of like All Saints Day. I think that's another name for it, where the veil is thin so we can hear them more. Right. And I think Christmas Eve is like that too. And I think it's known to be a famous day like that too, when the veil is thin. And then we like really feel like you might have really vivid memories of your ancestors. I know that was happening to me. And then so that might be a good time to meditate with them, right? Or do ceremony, or like you say, give them offerings, right?
Yeah. And I also feel like we can connect in with them on dream time as well. Like I did when you said that the veils are so thin, you were talking with your mom. I actually had a dream about my friend who passed away on Lion's Gate. And I was in a garden with her daughter, who's a friend of mine as well. And we could hear her talking to us just like we were talking right now. So I do feel like when you said that veil is thin, I remembered that dream time that I had with her and the way she was talking through this garden to us and what her messages were about like garden and nature and nurturing was very potent and powerful. And that's what activated that when you said that.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I have had a vivid dream too of my father, and it was a visiting dream where we were like t having long talks. So it didn't feel like a dream. It felt more like a visitation, like a few nights ago. So that's kind of interesting that if they're closer, we can also be having those deep dreams. I also wanted to, tap into lion medicine, and we were thinking of, or lioness medicine, and all the things connected to it. Like on a basic level, the lion spirit animal is connected to courage, power, fierceness. But also we think of the star seeds, the Lyrians, the cat people and their planet and all the energies of that. And also I always think people that, like myself included, who can kind of shapeshift into cat, look like cat sometimes. And that, like, do we have those star seed origins? That was coming up, and then connected to the Lyra constellation and like just opening that cat magic. And then also Ariel, the Archangel of Strength, but always seen as the lioness of God with her lion. And so that energy was coming in like fierce warrior power, almost like our powers being activated, I think. So that's kind of interesting for light workers too, and like gentle people, because I feel that in myself too, like a solar plexus alignment. Like, where am I going? Where am I navigating my ship? Like I was getting these downloads about manifesting, how like we have to like fuel the solar plexus, right, with will and energy to manifest and move forward. And that's like a lion energy that a lot of us need if we're gentle or like too passive. So that was very interesting, like all these kind of downloads of the lions, and then like the symbols, the light language, the earth healing, like all this medicine that's activating as the planet evolves. And I think that these auspicious days give a boost, give a planetary boost of evolution, because I do feel a lot of new or old ancient wisdom has been coming online, and I've been kind of learning some more things, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and I was also kind of tracking into other feline medicines. It's interesting that you were saying courage and strength, but I was also really connecting in with the lioness and like a tender-heartedness and being compassion and connected to that tender time that we need to be with ourselves, like self-care. You were talking about self-care earlier. And like not being so hard on ourselves and giving ourselves a lot more grace in everything that we do, which it's hard to do in the West. We're just so focused on thriving and pushing ourselves. But that tender-hearted lion is a very soft energy, and it's very sweet and kind, but to give that to ourselves as well as obviously others. I think it's really easy to be tender and compassionate with everybody else's sufferings, but with our own personal suffering and our own things that we're working through on a daily basis, like really being able to witness and have some care with those pieces of ourselves, that we not to be so hard and judgmental like the rest of the world kind of makes us.
Well, it does make me think of cat medicine, like cuddling and purring. And the cats do have a sense of like self-esteem and self-importance, and also like they know how to rest, right? Rest and receive. Like I don't know. I feel like we learn a lot from cats, and um it's a yeah, that's amazing energy. So I would like to, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about the goddesses and things, and then maybe I'd like to we can do a little bit of energy activation just to align our hearts with Lion Gate, our heart and soul, and get grounded into Lion's Gate, because I noticed, I know Mercury retrograde is going on right now too. I noticed I was getting pushed off kilter, but I had to just take extra time to meditate, to just align my heart with Earth and the cosmos, and just kind of enjoy the energies versus getting pushed off center because the energies were intense, and then I would get restless. So I would like to talk about how can we, and you have some great tips on that too, like how do we stay grounded and centered during these big energy shifts so that we can be peaceful and cultivate this energy versus feeling overwhelmed or, feeling that chaos energy too.
Yeah, I feel like as we were talking about more cats and different cat medicines and goddesses, the first one we were talking about earlier was the Sekhmet. She's like the Egyptian goddess. And her medicine of courage and strength, but also she does some tenderheartedness work and compassion. And then I also always track into the Durga goddess. She's like one of the mother goddesses. And she always has this big lioness, hers is a big tiger. Sorry, not a lion. She always has a big tiger with her. And then as we were talking and you're talking about cats purring and, like that cat medicine. Also, I went back to our Peruvian shamanic lineage where we always have a jaguar or a puma. And that tracking and that emotional space that works in our heart. And that really keeps that heart space so we can track our emotions. We know how to navigate the world through the heart space with our jaguars. So all these like different types of cats, the lion, the tiger, the puma, they all kind of work together. I feel like in this little, feline helping spirits, maybe on a totem level or, if there's maybe even a bobcat or anything that's kind of calls to whoever is out there, but, connecting with that nature of that also Ariel, Archangel. She's like the angel of nature and nurturing. And so I feel like all these three and she has a lion too, you said. So all of these like elemental, archetypal wisdoms are kind of woven together today. It feels like they're coming through to kind of guide us.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a theme of like power and heart, which I think that the cats do embody. Like they're in their heart, but they're very, they have a lot of body confidence and they're confident in their body and in their physical form and asserting their power. So that's kind of interesting today. I feel like a theme of like, how do we balance the heart and the power and, and live in the balance, even if it's called masculine and feminine. Because I think culturally or women, it's always like, be sweet, be kind, be docile, be a certain way versus the true self, which is more balanced and has the fierce warrior cat energy and needs that, like the inner warrior. And I think that's a lot what Ariel is about because she's about getting your needs met, facing things with courage, standing up for yourself. So it's like those things can be hard, but we have to like learn how to do those things. And I think that's been coming up a lot for me too. Did I learn how to stand up for myself at a young age? Did I learn how to assert my power and fierceness and speak up for myself? And it's like never too late to do that because I'm like, oh, I'm 20 years too late. But it's like, it's never too late to like have a backbone, right? So it's like a lot of like, I think, meditating with that cat medicine, bringing in like, what are those attributes that they want to help us with that maybe we need? Maybe we need a little bit more of that warrior inside to defend ourselves or like that power to feel like we can thrive on earth or like that will energy. Cause it's a lot of like will I feel with the cat. Like they can just kind of like do things. I don't know. It feels like a lot of solar plexus healing today as I go into like what's going on with the chakras. I also feel that it's good to focus on chakra alignment today because I told you what I felt as I was getting blasted with the energy because I'm sensitive and my chakras were getting misaligned. So I was consciously like, okay, I'm going to align my crown chakra and my third eye because I could see they were off. It was like I had this vision of getting blasted and then they got off center. And I was like, okay. And then I was feeling restlessness and I was like, okay, let me align that. But I wanted to talk to you about that because I feel like you're really good at like nervous system regulation. Like, do you have any tips of like, if some of us are sensitive, how can we ground in these energies in a peaceful way and work with these big energy shifts?
Yeah, well, I feel like today is a really important day to be outside in nature, like whatever you can do, even if you have to work in an office or somewhere concrete, but getting to a park, sitting down on the grass, laying down with like your belly down to the grass. If that feels uncomfortable to you, then try to find a space where you can even sit on a bench, but whatever you, and with your feet flat on the ground, maybe with your shoes off, whatever you can do to be like your body on Pachamama, Mother Earth, Gaia's body, like that. I feel like that's a really great grounding to really connect deeper to a grounding space where you're not, she helps she helps us regulate our nervous system and calm down any, thoughts that are causing harm. And you can just give her all the things that you don't want to be carrying with you every day. Spending time in nature, or gardens, and doing art and creative things, opening up to that source where it's outside of the normal working world for most people,
Yeah, that's a good point. And as you were talking, I feel like we were opening up stuff and I kept seeing the smoky quartz that needed to work with that. And I think it's a lot of just self-awareness of where your energy field goes off balance, right? Or how to regulate your nervous system if it goes off, like, oh, I know I can sit in the garden or take a walk. Or like us, we love to make flower essences and gem essences and things. And I got back into them, like I took them all out and I put a bunch in my drink this morning, and then I started making more and I realized they really align me. And it's almost like they align me with my energy body. Because I think when I start making them or I get that download, I feel very much in my balanced energy body. Like when we're doing guided action, right? As a healer, as a potion maker. And so I was really thinking about that today, how like that's a really great alignment to be in that listening, right? To like, oh, I got to go I also made an herbal charm. It's for Mercury retrograde, but it's like I made it like 2 days ago, right? Close to 8/8. So I feel like it's connected to that too. And it's a similar thing where, we're working with the elements of nature, the herbs, the flowers, and we're setting that intention that it's going to ground us. It's going to bring peace, maybe for manifesting or peace during these astrological shifts.
Yeah, when you said smoky quartz, I could visualize taking those stones outside and letting them get charged up with that sun as well and cleansed and purified. Some people don't want to put their stones in water, but sun and moon bathing is equally as important. So on those days when you are feeling down or depressed or ungrounded and too many spirally thoughts, you can take their smoky quartz that you charged up in the sun and like put that on your heart and really like connect into that sun energy, especially in our long winter months, be like, I remember that day on 8/8 when I charged this stone up in the sun, and it really has that Lioness Gate energy to bring back to you from later on, throughout the year when we need it more. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I don't think of charging with the sun, and and just like listening to the things we have, like, we have the flower essences, we have the crystals, and it's like really grounding in and listen to like, oh, what's needed and how can I really feel in. Another big thing I love and I kind of grew up with always is reflexology. And I feel like just rubbing the feet, doing the pressure points in the feet is always so good at bringing you back into your body and then balancing the meridians. And then you can go into like full body, which is like acupressure, right? Certain points that balance the meridians. And I feel like I always have to get into that stuff, but I feel like everybody's different. So it's good to know like what balances your being, especially during these shifts. And so I wanted to do a little heart centering and just kind of connection together with that beautiful golden energy. And then maybe you can add to it, Joanna, just like drinking in that beautiful solar energy from Lioness Gate, bringing that into the high heart is coming up between the heart chakra and the throat chakra, and just bringing in that golden sunlight and bringing in those evolutionary codes, because I really feel that's coming in, and just opening our hands and receiving that and just allowing the beautiful changes that want to come and allowing ourselves to be open and receptive to the gift of all this stuff that the cosmos is giving us, the Earth's love coming up beneath us, that we are so loved by both, and that we are just kind of ready to integrate these magical energies of 8-8, connect with the lessons of the lioness, and just really working with this potent magic. I kind of see this golden solar energy, like pure mana, universal energy in my hands. And it's like, this is golden energy that we can use for like healing, manifesting, intention. It's like this beautiful power energy. So I see that golden energy kind of going through our aura, activating our cells. And that feels really good. Taking a deep breath and just kind of connecting with that. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I could feel that there was the lioness, her big paw on our hearts, and really connecting into do that heart healing, maybe one paw on the front and one on the back, and just kind of doing, if you've ever had somebody help you with your heart with one hand in the front, one on the back, or you could even put your own hands on your own heart right now. And just feeling into your own heartbeat. And as you were sharing with us, I felt like I had these big lioness paws on my heart, but I also felt that it was kind of outside of my body, kind of like how we go to the Earth star and the Sun star. There was like a heart star that was happening in the auric field in front of us. And I felt like that was like a very good space to be connected to keep us in right relationship and really keep us grounded. And in case we forget, it's like not connected right beside our own human body, but a foot or so out. So we can just pull that energy right in whenever we need it from that. It's like a heart star that came through. And if you can visualize or feel that with your little lion paws, you can pull that into your heart. That heart star. Really filling up our hearts and being bountiful with that heart medicine. And knowing we have unlimited hearts and unlimited love. It never runs out. And it's okay to give and share and be vulnerable. Especially when you have these lionesses helping to protect you in case you do have something that comes up for you. You're not alone. And I also feel like there's some salves going on any heart wounds. So if anybody has any, broken hearts or any grief that's happening, I feel like this lioness medicine, the goddesses and angels are really like putting some salves on the hearts and helping mend them, maybe sewing golden threads on them, any broken hearts or any healings that need to happen, any forgivenesses that need to happen. Just holding your heart with your hands, feeling that heartbeat going from you down to the earth, and then back again. And back to you, Andrea.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I really felt that pull. And like our cat ancestors then were coming through and they were like your family. And I always grew up with a lot of cats and like we grew up next to the woods and cats were always just like coming into the basement and having kittens. So I feel like I saw all those cats like in the spirit realm, just like, we're your family. It was really cute. And I did see like bringing in that earth healing that we collapse time and space and the earth is like little and we're just bringing in all this love for the planet, like that we're blessing everyone and we're blessing the future of earth, and this evolutionary energy that's coming in is part of what's always happened. We're always moving forward, we're always raising the consciousness of the planet, and just so much unconditional love for the earth and for all of the inhabitants, right? Just kind of bringing in that global healing. And then I did see golden angels kind of on a throne with golden lions too. So that was coming in like golden lions, golden angels. And I feel like it was just kind of like a comforting vision that like we're being watched over, right? and then going into like, what is the golden ray? What does that represent? You know, the golden halo, the gold energy, and gold in general is that higher consciousness. So yeah, that was beautiful. And so Lion's Gate does last until the 12th. It's the 8th. And so I just want to talk about little ways like rituals and different activities we can do to harness this energy. I personally felt like I needed a little extra meditation time. I wanted to do sound healing. I want to take some time to do crystal grids or, build the grids in nature, maybe work with the herbs. But I think it's always great to talk about ideas of how we can, perform ceremony, even if it's just alone, to kind of bring in that connect with that sacred stillness and like go deeper. So I was just kind of thinking of ideas, and I think it is fun to have, a little homework, right? Like go pull some oracle cards for Lion's Gate, or, um, listen to a meditation. So yeah, I would love to hear what you recommend.
I also, when we were talking earlier, was about, making tea, like making sun tea, using the sun right now in the summer. We are in, I guess, the northern hemisphere. So all this sun medicine and golden light, when you talked about that golden light, it was really like connecting to that golden light, sitting outside with that golden light, visualizing that golden light, trying to remember it within ourselves, using that for all of our, teas, balms, if you want to make some herbal infusions, any of those things that can really be enhanced by that sun. Even dehydrating some of your herbs from the garden, just going outside and doing some like summer harvest is really great today. And just being a part of that medicine, or if you want to like press any of your flowers in a book to like remember them throughout the year, any of the things that are kind of like a memory bank. It feels like today is really marking the middle of summer. And so that we can remember it for the whole year, because this is such a special day. And it's a special time of the year for us, is when we have these long, dark winters. Yeah. Did you want to add to that? I feel like you have a longer, harder winter than I do.
Drinking that in, like, oh yeah, I was trying to press flowers before, and I feel like they're in a book somewhere. But those are great ideas, because I love creativity and herbal crafts. So it's good to think of, recipes. I'm definitely going to get some crystals in the sun, like you said, and work with that golden energy. And look at what, like, I have geranium, I have snapdragon, like see what flowers want to be pressed, and how to do that with parchment paper. But yeah, I'm also feeling like baking, like that celebration of like, tea party, fresh flowers in a vase. I got fresh sunflowers for Lion's Gate, and that felt really good too. And I did want to bring up the dandelion lion, because that was coming up a lot. Like I drew them a few times, and now I always see that when I see dandelion is the lion medicine and like the lion mane, and like that's all I see. And it's like, what is that energy? So that's like an herb that's really coming up too, is the dandelion. And I was looking at that tea earlier. I was like, do I want some dandelion tea today? And then the other herbs like rosemary and thyme, like they're all in bloom right now in my garden, and I've been wanting to, make teas with them and eat them. And so that's kind of coming through too, this time of like what are we harvesting? Like you were saying, the herbs, and how we can use that, in our food, because those are the things that are thriving right now. I have really delicious like summer fruits here too, like grapes and watermelon. I'm just kind of having a lot of memories of summer. I wanted to talk about that too, like kind of soul retrieval energy, because I was having a lot of memories of summers throughout the years, and like what is the energy of this time of year, like barbecues and getting outside and visiting people or exploring places, and how do we move that into the present moment? Like how do we want to use that right now? I think that's really good. Always like following that energy of like how we can enjoy this moment, right? Celebrate.
Yeah.
Picnic.
I was thinking about like what you said about harvesting all this medicine and from our gardens and being with people and everything. And I also feel like we can also use this in our business world, like harvesting, like planning. Right now, it's a good time to harvest what we're building for our companies, for our schools, for our platforms, all the things. When you were saying that, I really was like, oh yeah, it's harvesting your own medicines, harvesting your own intuition, really connecting into your own medicine, like from that garden outside in the physical space, but within our own selves too, bringing it back to our own personal bodies. And it really made me think, okay, I'm waiting until I have something on the specific day and then I'm doing like XYZ. But I just thought, you know what, today's like a good visioning day to just sit down and write it all out, because it kind of plants that seed. It was like planting those seeds like we did back in the spring to have our plants growing now, and seeing like what is going to be blooming in the next season, which is in a month and a half right now, for the first day of autumn. So it's like, yeah, it made me really think of like that seed planting, that harvesting, that like, what are we creating? What are our intentions right now for ourselves?
And that does always feel like the seasonal medicine, like, what's our focus right now? Yeah, we're planning a lot for the next like 4 months-ish. I think the rest of the year, I feel that coming through. And it's a lot of like, what are my goals with, money, work? What do I want to see wrapped up? I feel a lot of that coming through. And so it's like, enjoying that energy, listening to a hypnosis, writing out your goals and putting them on your altar, like using some magical things too. I like to use cinnamon and like, also use Reiki symbols or things to strengthen your intention. I was reading Catherine Ponder. No, I always like Catherine Ponder, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. That's a great manifesting book. But also another person from that age, Florence Scovel Shinn, and she would always say, I speak the word. So if like somebody wants to manifest or heal something, she'd speak the word, like very clear with it. As, she was like a unity minister, but it was staying in my head like, oh, that really clear intention. Like, I want that fixed. I'm speaking the word, So it's a good time to practice and activate our manifesting skills, I think. And that's the card I pulled today too, was intention.
Yeah. And going inward, it's a new moon right now. So doing that inner feminine work, I feel, is important right now. We're not really going out and spending a lot of extra energy out with people. That's more of like a new moon energy versus like our full moon energy. The new moon is like we're doing that inner work. So that really comes into alignment with the 8/8 right now, because we're on this like really, really powerful new moon as well. Now it was something that you just said, it made me spark of that like new moon, that inner work. And yeah, it's summer. And so we do want to go out and see everybody and make sure to do our own self-care first. Make sure that we're in alignment, that we're not giving too much, that we're not burning out, that we are everything that we need. We take care of ourselves first and then have all of our needs met. And connecting to the archetypes that we drew in today to help with that, so that we can go out and socialize and have fun in the summer too, without burning out by the time it's the autumn.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I was thinking that today. I was like, I feel like I need hours of self-care or something. It's like exercise, meditation, then I need energy work. And it's like, it's good though to know what you need and make that time and those boundaries, like if you need to like get off of social media more and do more like quiet meditation, or like I love Qigong, or, because I felt like I needed this unplugging and to be in like almost a dark vacuum of like my own manifesting and alignment. I don't know if, sometimes I feel like that, like I need to be like in this isolated cave, almost like a vacuum where I can just be with my own will, my own intention, and align. And that felt like something having to do with Lioness Gate, where I needed to like get rid of all distractions and then like go move into my alignment in like the temple of my higher self or something. I felt a lot of that happening. And I think that's the elevation we're going through now, is it's coming and going, out as we evolve, but it feels like an activation of personal power. And I know that activates, I find, at different times in our life, different ages of adulthood, we're like, okay, I need to like more power to like build my kingdom and forge forward. So I feel a big rush of that. And then the other side of that, the shadow of that is feeling like, oh, I can't create anything. I have nothing to show for my life. I've not accomplished anything, right? That energy is a shadow of that versus like really feeling like gung ho, like I'm ready to build my kingdom. I'm here on earth. I'm showing up fully. And so I was playing with those two extremes and I was like, well, this is really interesting thing to think about. Like, how do we stay in that power? Of course, we're going to feel disempowered sometimes, but we want to keep going back to that steady increase of, personal empowerment and then the growth of that in our life. Because I think as the lion comes through with courage and personal empowerment, that the backbone, that's like such a core energy of like how to thrive. We need that. And so it's kind of like our own medicine. Like, so I'm thinking like before you wrap up, I want to talk about like for me personally, I know before you were talking about, oh, let make like a potion for 8/8. I'm almost thinking of making a solar lion energy so that we can keep that energy all year. Like if we need lion confidence, power, courage, golden essence, and working with the golden stones. So some of that kind of inspiration's coming through too, because if like we're someone who needs that, we need that golden power. We need more of that dynamic confidence in our life. I know I definitely need some of that. And it feels good just talking about it. So yeah, I'm totally gonna like, work with the crystals and stuff and see what wants to come through so I can make some stuff for all year. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you said working on your own personal inner temple. And it made me think of the archetypes that we've been talking about. We didn't go too deep down into the Sekhmet, this like lion-hearted goddess who's also very fierce and very strong. And she has a lot of power and kind of helps you stand up for yourself. And when you're talking about, the essences that you're going to create today, it feels like bringing in this strength. And I have made a flower essence on 8/8 before, but I also like the way that you've shared with me multiple times is like to make new ones. Like just because I made that a few years ago, and I feel like some of them have, maybe they did their work and it's time to like recycle those and like give them back to the earth and start fresh with this new energy this year. Because like those old medicines, I feel like they might have like old energy attached to them or old time in my life when I made them, even though all of them are made in ceremonies, but things have changed and shifted so much, even in the last 4 years, that some of those I want to like recreate them now with like new powerful magic and bringing in these new archetypes for this, like bringing in Sekhmet, bringing in Ariel, bringing in Durga, bringing in any other lioness medicines. And while we've been talking and doing our meditations, I feel like I was connecting into the altar I'm going to make after this and what I'm going to be calling in for that cat feline space today. Yeah, did you have anything to add to that?
That feels really good. And I was thinking, I don't have any cat statues, but then I just see one on the shelf, so I do have one. See, no, I think I'm just excited about getting that energy moving of making an essence and, cultivating that golden lion energy now for all year because it is good to look at what we need. If, like I said, I felt so good, like because I'm doing a lot of feminine lineage work, we needed that golden confidence as women, like, because I think they were very gentle, sweet women, but they needed like the fierce warrior. So it's kind of interesting to dive deep into like, how am I evolving? What do I need so that I don't just go on those unconscious paths versus like living consciously in my power and in the present moment. And I think that ties into making the new essences because you're right, we're different and the energy is different and we want to pull it in. And also I think all the solutions from before, they might partially work, but we're pulling in new things. We're pulling in new forms of healing energy, new channels. Like, and I think that's really important, especially as people who have been channeling for years, been a healer for years. You kind of can get in this rut of thinking like, oh, I have all these tools, I know all this stuff, but it's like always good to like, clean out the books, clean out everything and think and kind of get fresh new info. I've been doing that. I've been learning a few different things. So it's kind of exciting to think about like how we want to clean the closets on every level, right? Like the things we used to work for us that don't, even cleaning out our old clothes and shoes and books, making room for the new, right?
And social media, you just did a big purge,
Yeah.
and just like things that are taking up too much time in your brain, too much time in our energy force, too much time that doesn't have like an ROI for us, So anything that doesn't bring joy anymore, we need to just like let it go, because those things we don't have enough time. Time is our most valuable resource. And if we don't have time to do the things we love, then we can't do all these things that don't bring us joy. So just cut all the things that don't bring joy out, and connecting into the things that do bring joy. And that goes for humans too, humans or groups or spaces that you might have been feeling like weren't fitting anymore, just all those spaces. And it's not that I'm never going to go back to those realms or those places or yoga studio or whatever, even though there's nothing in me right now that I don't want to go to, but I just can remember feeling like some things just weren't in alignment and thinking, I don't want to go back there, and just how that felt, if it felt guilty, or was I feeling like I was abandoning the studio or myself or the space, but really being like, no, you know what? That doesn't bring me joy anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. This is what my new focus is. And having your new focuses bring joy. And if it doesn't bring joy, don't do it.
That's a really good point. The peaceful parting of ways. I always feel like I pray a lot for that, because it's like, you meet so many people, you have different jobs, you live in different places, and you just want to part ways and move on peacefully. I think it really is an art, and even to remain whole as you do that, right? Don't leave parts of yourself everywhere. Gather all yourself back.
Oh yeah, I felt like that when you said that, with that lion, get that lion to collect those pieces of you, because you did talk about a bit of soul retrieval,
Yeah.
having that lioness go and collect those lost pieces of your soul today and
Well,
bring them all back into a wholeness.
I think it's really important, because going through the years of lockdown and the upheaval on the planet, it's like we kind of get lost in the happiness of the past, or, it's kind of like dissociation from the present. And so I think we're doing more work to anchor into the present and lead the present, even if it's hard to face, like the state of the world or something. I want to bring that up too, that we can check out and like dream of the past or simpler times, and just being present and courageous in the now, even if that just means, praying for the planet and blooming where we're planted, doing little things, but making the best of like right now, you know, um, is amazing. And that's like the soul retrieval too. It's like bless the past, but also do things in the now, to like even simple things like the cooking and the crafts, to just make the present moment happy, right? Because we've been noticing that. I've been noticing some of the trauma, I think, is still healing people, the trauma of lockdown and the isolation, because I've noticed collectively people just aren't as social and happy a little bit. And I was kind of tapping and I was like, what's going on? It's like, oh, everybody was in survival mode for a while. And so they're not as joyful. So it's kind of like want to call that joy back. I don't know. I was just kind of praying for everybody and having compassion, trying to understand like how consciousness has shifted since then,
Yeah. And I feel like so many people became so self-aware and treated the pandemic more like a retreat, and really enjoy being on their own and by themselves, and can really found themselves again. And they're like loving it so much that they don't want to go back to the old ways that we were before, like with all the social expectations and all the things that were probably causing harm and burning us out. So a lot of people are like, no, I actually really like this, like me time, my own privacy, my own sacred spaces that I can create my sanctuary of my home. And I'm like more of a homebody, never go out anymore. So there's been like, it's a yes. And, there's been a lot of flux of people like remembering how nice it is to be in a safe space of being in your home, and how that is your sanctuary, So I feel like that's also been a really great remembering during the pandemic and post-pandemic realms.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel like we go back and forth, and it's like I didn't want to be out of the house so much, but then you almost feel like, is it bad that you're not in the house? I mean, that you're not out a lot. And it is a balance of like, and I think that's part of the self-mastery right now, is like, what's our ideal lifestyle? How much do we want to be out of the home? Um, and a lot of drawing back to the home and the, homesteading and things like that in nature. But yeah, do you have any final messages about Lioness Gate? We're wishing everybody a wonderful Lioness Gate. And we will be back soon for more podcasts. You can find us at mystictemple.co. I'm Andrea Dombecki from Angel Fairy Healing, and I'm here with Joanna Wiley from Heart Mountain Wellness.
Yeah, and I'm also on Facebook and all the socials under Heart Mountain Wellness, and I'm also under Heart Mountain Organic. And our website is our website together, Andrea and I, is mystictemple.co, and we're at Mystic Temple Wisdom on Facebook. And Andrea is Angel Fairy Healing.
Oh yeah, I said it right.
And
I wanted to mention too that we have a few other episodes, and you could subscribe to us on Spotify and Mystic Temple Podcast. And we're excited to connect with everybody and share beautiful healing medicine and inspiration.
so find us online and we will be in touch. Thank you so much. Bye for now.